What a beautiful day to work on commissions, I thought to myself today as I sat down and began to do just that. But no, Atlas had other plans with this day. And then, as I was just innocently finishing up a particularly complex piece of work, I quickly switched tabs to check on my Discord. And what am I faced with? Like a bus crash out of nowhere, a flood of information comes crashing down onto me from all sides. Different private chats suddenly just popping up, alerting me, pinging me left and right. My server flooded with millions of different messages of people suddenly talking about stuff like human Morgana and dead mothers, and what do I know, it was just chaos. So while I had spent the day trying to earn some extra cash by drawing stuff for people, apparently the second coming of Christ, by which I mean Persona 5, was announced. And that's it for the sarcasm for now, because I swear I'm gonna tune it back a bit. I've said in the past that Persona 5 is not my favorite game in the Persona series by far. That said, I was still quite intrigued by all this stuff that suddenly just came in. Mostly because I wasn't really thinking too much about Persona 5 The Royal lately. I already expected that it would probably be like a port of Persona 5, much in the vein of Persona 4 The Golden. But I didn't really think too much about what the contents would be like. I just knew there was going to be this red-haired ponytail girl in it, and that was it pretty much. So when they released the trailer, I had no expectations, and sometimes no expectations are the best expectations, because it means no matter what you see, you can't be disappointed. So I had reactions to what came out. Quite a few actually. So let's go through what I thought when I saw the trailer and like all the stuff, like the pictures people were posting, the snippets of dialogue that were going around, the informations and all that stuff. What was I thinking? First of all, let me just say that now that we actually have the full design for Kazumi Yoshizawa is the name of the girl that they teased in the earlier teaser trailer, I'm actually I'm liking it. She does resemble the female main character of Persona 3 Portable, but there's a certain specific charm to her. I think it's probably the curls in her hair. That's always something that I just enjoy. And she just seems really lovable, really energetic, likable. I do have to say that I have seen people complain about her Phantom Thief outfit. To that I will have to say, I do see what these guys are complaining about, but on the other hand, I think they are making too much of a deal of it, because all of the Phantom Thief outfits are sexualized, and I don't mean just the girls, all of them are sexualized in some way. It just stands out more with the girls, because the character designer is a man. He knows how to sexualize women more than he knows how to sexualize men. So that's just how it comes across. But personally, as a girl, and as a girl who's not a fan of sexualization, I still think that there's like an aesthetic quality to this design especially that I can really get behind. Like, unlike with Anne's Phantom Thief outfit, for example, that I was really never much of a fan of. This one I can see like how it's supposed to mirror Joker. It has a charm that I do appreciate. I mean, it's not the best possible design I could have come up with, but I do sort of like it. It has this weird balance between like a ballerina's outfit and Joker's outfit that I can appreciate from like a symbolic perspective. That said, I do like that Kazumi is like a first gear, that she refers to the older characters as senpai, especially like the main character, because characters referring to each other as senpai kohai is something that I was really missing in Persona 5, because everyone they are super casual with each other, which is just something that always came off as extremely anime-ish to me, but maybe that's just because I don't especially am in tune with the current youth of Tokyo. I've been thinking a lot about how Kazumi could be fitting into the game's narrative, and that's when I realized, like, they do bang a big drum about how, similar to Persona 4 the Golden, unlocking January, February and March as playable, they say this game is going to do the same, which is weird because during January, February and March, Joker is supposed to be in jail. So I've been thinking about how can these months be playable, how can this have to do with the new content, and looking into the trailers, looking to how the characters talk, what they say, I quickly realized that there's one possible way that this could all tie together. Basically what I'm thinking is that Kazumi Yoshizawa somehow is going to cause a palace to appear, like using her persona powers is going to cause a palace to appear that is based on not anyone's specific desire, but like the desires of everyone she likes, I guess, or everyone she wants to make happy. And it's basically like, if you know the trope, a lotus eater machine, so basically a perfect paradise where everyone's deepest desires are just fulfilled without question and without effort being invested. And what I think is that these 3 months are going to be set entirely in the metaverse, in this dungeon, with nobody at first realizing that they are inside a palace. And it's a world where Joker is free, and where Morgana gets to have a human body, where Wakaba is still alive, and all these things that we've seen that should be impossible. So we spent these 3 months in this fake world, and slowly everybody begins to realize, oh wait, this isn't how the world's supposed to be. It's awesome, but this wasn't how things were supposed to be. He was supposed to be in jail, my mom was supposed to be dead, we never found a way to turn Morgana into a human, and so on and so forth. So basically what I think is going to happen is that there's going to be this bonus dungeon once they realize that they are inside a palace and need to break out, and they will need to fight against Kazumi, who wants to maintain this fake world. Because there's one point in the trailer where Morgana says fulfilling everyone's desires has nothing to do with justice. So what I think is Kazumi is going to have like a concerted effort in keeping, like, expanding this palace all over the world, and like keeping everyone inside this delusion where everyone is happy without ever having to fight for making their dreams come true. And the Phantom Thieves are going to wake up one by one and band together again in order to defeat her, like change her heart, like change her ideals of how the world is supposed to go, and make her realize that they can't stay in this fake world. They have to go back to the real world, face the real world. Like, it would sort of tie back to Persona 4, and I think that's actually intentional, because Kazumi's name, while it's written in hiragana, can mean fog. So I feel like she's supposed to tie back to Persona 4 thematically by facing the Phantom Thieves with something that's more in tune with like Persona 4's ideals. So in order to see how these characters would deal with being forced with that sort of ideology, like something among the lines of what Izanami was trying to do, as opposed to what Yaldabaoth was trying to do. And I think that's actually a really fascinating idea. If this is really where this is going, it's going to be really interesting in my opinion. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, I hope I'm right, but I've been wrong about predictions like this before, so we can only see if I'm anywhere close to right about this. On this note, when we do see like this human version of Morgana that, as I just said, might just be a fake image that appears in this bonus palace that actually has to be abandoned in order to break out of the delusion. Still, when I saw this human form of Morgana, I had 2 thoughts at first. The first thought, holy crap, he looks like an older version of Teddy with black hair. The second thought that came to me was, he looks like a character out of a yaoi dating sim. And that just disturbed me deeply because, well, basically my entire server went, but what if you can date Morgana? And everybody was deeply disturbed by the idea of not getting to date any guy but Morgana. It was just a very interesting thought, and I mean, I don't want to say that it doesn't suit him, because, let's be honest, it looks about as fitting for Morgana as Teddy's human form looked fitting for him. So I guess there's a theme there. But on the other hand, is he still gonna be voiced by Otani Ikue?
Otani Ikue さん。
はい。
はじめまして。
よろしくお願いします。はじめまして。
ピカチュウの声もするんですよ。ピカチュウちょっと言っていただけます？
ピカチュウ。ピカチュウ。
Like the Pikachu voice actress who voices him in Japanese in his cat form.
Pika pika.
Is that still going to be the voice? Because if Otani Ikue is going to voice somebody who looks like this, I think I'm going to have a laughing fit that's going to potentially kill me. It's going to be interesting is what I'm saying. Something that I find really, really interesting is that while the game is called Persona 5 The Royal in English, when you actually look at the Japanese website, the title that is actually written there is Steal Away That Will. And then the title beneath it is Persona 5 Shinsei. And Shinsei doesn't mean royalty, it means rebirth. Which is interesting because Rebirth was actually one of the rumored titles for Persona 5 R, as it was known back then. Like when people were still trying to piece together what the R in it stands for. And I think that that double meaning is probably intentional, like it's supposed to be read as both the royal and the rebirth. In Persona 4 the golden also had several meanings, because on the one hand it referenced the golden time, which is what the Japanese call prime time on TV, but on the other hand it also referenced shadow gold, which is like what Jung called positive characteristics that are hidden inside the shadow, like how Mary was a positive characteristic hidden inside Izanami, or how you need the shadow in order to find the good inside yourself, like you can't look away from the truth. So like both the primetime meaning and the good inside the shadow meaning tied together like this inside the game. And I wonder if Persona 5 The Royal or Persona 5 Rebirth, as the alternate title seems to be, will have something similar going on with its theming. I'm one of the people who actually really liked how Persona 4 The Golden handled Marie, so don't tell me that you're afraid that Kazumi is going to play out similar to Marie, because to me that would be a good outcome. The other thing that really struck me as interesting is this new character they added, like that has never been seen before, called Takuto Maruki. Or is it supposed to be read Maruki Takuto? It's both very weird names that I've never heard before. But in any case, as far as I can tell, he's supposed to be a student counselor and therapist who is hired to Shujin Academy after the Kamoshida incident in April in order to counsel the students, because obviously they don't want any more of them jumping off any roofs, and it does characterize him as well liked by the students, somebody who's really a good listener, who gives good advice to the students. And the arcana that he's listed under, because he's a new confidant / social link, is the consultant, which is basically just an alternate for the magician. And before you ask, wait, what alternate? The Thoth Arcana deck doesn't have like an alternate for the magician like that. That's because there's so many tarot decks going around with so many different alternate names for pretty much all of the arcana. It's pretty easy to find alternate names for the arcana if you just try. And usually when the Persona series does this, it does it in a way that tries to emphasize certain characteristics of arcana specifically. And calling the magician the consultant instead makes me think especially of the magician's characteristic as a performer who interacts with his audience, somebody who uses the art of misdirection and such. So this makes me think that we should probably pay good attention to this quote-unquote well-liked student counselor, because what this arcana placement makes me think is that he might be good at manipulating others. So we should probably keep an eye on how he interacts with the people, if he might have a hidden agenda, much in the same way as most magician arcana characters, even if they're well-intentioned, often try to make themselves come out on top, whether they mean to or not, possibly at the detriment of others. So with that all said, what do you think of Persona 5 The Royal in total so far? Well, there's a lot of promising stuff here, but it's all just speculation and some snippets of information so far. I do like the art direction it's going for, I do like the stylishness, I do like that they're improving a lot of the gameplay stuff still. I do not like that we still have no confirmed Switch release, but who knows, maybe that's still coming. On that note, I'm actually pretty neutral right now. I'm neither especially positive nor especially negative. On the one hand, I do think that this could possibly fix a lot of the issues I had with the base game Persona 5, like make the pacing feel less rushed, make the characters give the characters more breathing room to just be kids and interact with each other and actually build their friendship before we're supposed to feel bad for them getting hurt. On the other hand, if it's handled clumsily and if the pieces don't quite fit together like they should, this could potentially actually damage the base game more than it helps. So that's going to be interesting to see. I'll definitely play the game as soon as possible after release, but I'm kind of in a financial situation right now, so I don't know if I'll be able to pre-order. That said, I won't, jump straight on the hype train, definitely not, that has never really done me any good in the past. But I'll see where this goes, and I'll try to keep it in mind when I make future videos. That said, I hope you all are having your own ideas. Do you agree with my theory? What are your thoughts on Persona 5 The Royal? Did I say anything that you didn't know yet? Is there anything you would like to add? Just go down in the comments and talk to me. It's really, I want to talk to you guys about this stuff. That said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this little doodle thing I did here. If you'd like to support me, go to my tip jar on Ko-fi, it's directly connected to my PayPal. Or if you'd like to support me long time, I also have a Patreon. There's a Discord server where you can talk to me. And I also have commissions open if you would like to commission me for art, writing, or a translation of any kind. If you would like to talk about commissions to me, you can come to the Discord server and find me there. Well then, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Bye!